Good morning, everyone, from a very chilly Gauteng. This week's blind spot is one that often starts with really good intentions. You've built the practice, often on your own, the business grows, the team grows, and eventually you hopefully realize you can't continue doing everything yourself. So you bring someone else into the business. In a larger practice, that might mean another director or shareholder, perhaps as part of your succession plan. In a smaller practice, it might simply mean bringing in another financial planner to take responsibility for their own clients and help grow the business. All sensible decisions. But here's the blind spot. We're often very clear about bringing people into the business and far less clear about what happens once they're inside the business. I've seen businesses with two or three very capable directors around the table, but no one has really defined their individual roles. And ideally, those people shouldn't all be versions of each other anyway. One of the benefits of building a leadership team is bringing different strengths into the business. One person may be technically strong, another great with people and operations, while someone else has a strong commercial or strategic mind. You don't want to clone yourself. You want expertise you don't have, and you want those people to actually use it. But that requires clarity. Who can make which decisions? What needs agreement? Who owns what? And who is accountable when something falls between the cracks? Without that clarity, everyone either gets involved in everything, creating duplication and bottlenecks, or everyone assumes someone else is dealing with it, creating gaps. So why does this happen? These relationships often develop naturally. You trust each other, you talk all the time, and formally defining decision rights can feel unnecessarily corporate in a smaller business. The same thing happens when you bring another planner into your practice. You employ them to manage client relationships and take some pressure off you. But then every recommendation needs your approval. Every unusual situation comes back to you, and every decision gets checked with you first. At some point, that planner needs to stand on their own feet. That doesn't mean abandoning your standards or oversight. It means being clear about what they can decide independently, what needs to be escalated, and what they are accountable for. The same principle applies to your managers and team leaders. And this isn't only an operational issue, it's a governance issue. As we move towards a COFI environment, governance, oversight, and accountability become increasingly important. Your governance team can't simply be a collection of senior people who occasionally meet. Responsibilities, decision-making authority, and accountability need to be clear and documented, and that clarity should flow through the business. Directors should understand their mandate. Managers and team leaders should know which decisions they can make, and planners should know when they're expected to use their own professional judgment rather than automatically escalating everything back to the founder. So, the question I want you to sit with this week is when you bring people into your business, are you looking for smaller versions of yourself, or are you deliberately bringing in people with different strengths who challenge your thinking and make the business better? And once they're there, are you genuinely giving them the authority, accountability to own their part of the business? Or are you handing out impressive job titles while still holding all the reins yourself? Because if every important decision still needs to come back to you, you haven't really built a leadership team. You've given everyone impressive titles and kept all the actual decision making for yourself. So, my final thought is this: good partnerships, whichever form they take, don't mean every decision needs a committee or the owner's approval. Bring in people who strengthen the business where you aren't strongest. Give them clear parameters, genuine responsibility, and enough authority to do the job you've asked them to do. And yes, when they get it wrong, hold them accountable. That's part of the deal too. Because most often the partnership itself isn't the problem. It's the partnership nobody ever properly defined that creates the bottlenecks and the gaps. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you again for next month's blind spot.